Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Level M diecast Matchbox action, and yes, it's the cool Matchbox stuff, the stuff that we did not get here in the U.S. I do have these sitting around here. I've actually had these since the 2022 Matchbox Gathering in July of last year, and I've been wanting to do something kind of interesting for this video. And then, of course, those global series dropped, so I really wanted to get my hands on those to do some comparos. But it just didn't happen. That second set of global just never hit around me. I was never able to get it. So we're just going to go ahead and go through these ones here. We are going to give these guys proper rotator time too. So we're going to kick this off with the France set. This is the 1990 Volkswagen Transporter Crew Cab. And yes, this does have the interior variation, the cargo and no cargo. And of course, I do have both of those variations, so we're going to take a look at those. Majority of these came courtesy of Dirk Schluer. I did purchase these, but he was kind enough to help us U.S. collectors get our hands on these. Very, very nice. If you want to get some cool, hard-to-find stuff, I would suggest going to the Moy shop. There is the deets on the back of this particular card. You can see down in the corner it is 2022, so this is the 2022 France set. Now we're just focusing on the exclusives. This is the stuff that we did not get in the U.S. or the exclusive decos at the time. So we're going to crack these guys open and review those. Last one from France that I have, which is exclusive as of the time of this video, is this McLaren 720S Spider in kind of a graphite gray. This one looks particularly nice as well. Not particularly a French car, but it's fine. I mean, neither was a Volkswagen, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, Matchbox is just trying to grow the brand in the other countries, which I think is perfectly fine, so they'll figure it out. This one is also 2022 on that aspect. All right, so those are the only ones I have for France. Now we're going to move on to the UK. So these ones are actually a little bit older, most of the UK ones. So this is from the 2021 UK set. This is the Land Rover Series 2 Safari. As you guys know, if you are avid Matchbox collectors, it does come with two roof sections on there. So we do have both roof sections. We'll take a look at that in burgundy. This is, of course, again, exclusive color to the international UK line. Another one from 2021. This is the Lotus Exige. Now, we did get a similar version of this in a 9-pack, but this is a different version. This has the D10s for starters. The 9-pack one that we got had 5 spokes, but they are essentially the same British Racing green. It looks good. It looks really, really good. So very happy to have this one. I'm pretty sure I have every single release of that Exige ever done, but just making sure I stay on top of that. Next one up, also continuing for 2021, this is the BMW M5 Police, which has been used extensively in foreign decos, which I think is perfectly fine. Very fitting UK deco on this one for sure. I really like this one. Now, this one tends to get extra front print for the most part, but they usually don't have any rear print on it, unfortunately. But that's perfectly fine. One of the more desirable ones from 2021, because of course, if you're in the UK, you love Mr. Bean. This is Mr. Bean's Mini Cooper with his chair attached to the top. It is a snap-on additional piece on there. Now, this particular Mini Cooper we did get in the US. In a single pack, we got a special card on it too. But we have not gotten one with the chair attachment on the top. So pretty happy to get the chair attachment now. So that is definitely considered a new version in my book. Moving on to some 2022 UK series. This is the 2020 Land Rover Defender 90 in white. Exclusive color for the series. Finally have this one now. So new casting, relatively new casting, a couple of years old. We've got a couple of colors on it. So definitely glad to pick this one up. Debuted in green, then we got blue, and now this one in white. We'll see what 2023 brings on that one. Last UK one we're going to take a look at. This is the 1970 Ford Capri, which is about as UK as you can get. This one in yellow with a black hood on it. This one is relatively sought after at the time. Probably not as desirable now just because it's been out for a long time. But this was pretty popular at the gathering, I will tell you that. But the gathering brings the people from all over the world, so Very, very nice. Now, we are going to move on to Germany, and Germany is an absolute powerhouse. We'll just put it that way. Has by far the most of any of the whole mix. 1976 Volkswagen Golf Mark I. This is kind of a, in my opinion, a little bit old school throwback to the 80s GTI, just in its deco and color, which I think is pretty cool. Now, if, of course, again, if you are avid Matchbox collectors, you don't know that this one does come in two interior versions. You'll have cargo and no cargo, and fortunately, I was able to get both of those, which I'm super, super stoked about. These are from 2021 Germany set. Set those guys to the side. Let's see here. Moving on to some other 2021s. I apologize, I didn't have these quite in order. Making sure we get the 2021s first. This is the BMW i8 in white. Again, this was exclusive color at the time. I don't know if we're going to see this anywhere else. You know, we've gotten a bunch of i8s since this came out, but we just haven't gotten the white one, which is unfortunate. But I think it looks fantastic in white. So when we get this guy on the Rotator, I think it'll look especially nice. So set him to the side. Some more 2021. This one is especially nice. This is the Audi R8 in, dare I say, Nogaro blue. It's not quite Nogaro blue, I'll be honest with you, but it's pretty close. It looks fantastic, though. It does have the black D10s on there, which I think is pretty fitting. Looks pretty appropriate. Put it that way. Move that guy along. Another one from 2021 Germany set. This is the Unimog in HDR. This does come with the kind of off-road convoy cogwheels that don't get used enough. I really feel like they should use these wheels even more. They are a perfect fit for the Unimog, so especially happy about that one. Definitely making sure I keep up on all the Unimogs. One of my favorite castings for sure. One more for 2021, and arguably this is the best one in my opinion because, of course, we are not biased towards Porsche ever. Never. We're never biased. 911 GT3. This is sort of kind of a re-release. They did do a red color when it was a new model. However, this is the updated casting, which does have a metal spoiler. And, of course, it does come with the 5 spokes in chrome. It did come out with the D10s in chrome when it was red and new back in about 2008. So that is a very, very older one. All right, moving on to 2022 Germany. We do have ourselves a Volkswagen Beetle. This is the updated casting in light blue with the, disc hub wheels. Looks pretty good. Does have the chrome base on there, which is a very, very nice addition. No prints on the top, but we'll take a look at that when we crack him open because definitely going to crack them all open. Try not to knock over the stack of cars. Another M5 Police. This one decoed up in, of course, German deco for Polizei. I think that's how you say it. You can roast me if I'm wrong. This one looks especially nice. I do like the silver with the black 5 spokes. Looks pretty appropriate. Of course, more front print, but no rear print. Again, we will dive into that when we rip him out of the blister. Following up with that one, we do have another Unimog. And, of course, this one is decoed just like the M5 Police, which is perfectly appropriate. I would believe seeing a Unimog Police transport in Germany, but it is a little on the rough side, I will admit. It's kind of overkill. It is more of a military vehicle. Another really, really nice one, 62 Mercedes-Benz 220 SE. This one in cream with some black decals on the top and black disc hub wheels. This one looks especially nice as well. This one's pretty sought after. A lot of people like this casting. It's a very good casting. So debuted with a iconic racing livery on it in the main line a couple years ago. Last one for the Audis. We got another couple models, but this is the last Audi you're going to find. Audi TT-RS in orange, metallic orange. Looks absolutely fantastic. Again, not any of these models we've seen in the U.S. unless it's been in the global line. I think this looks even better than the Nogaro blue they did. I think this is the best version of the Audi TT thus far, but you guys can, reserve your opinions after we crack them open. Now this one is a little interesting. This is your Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe. I particularly like the GLE Coupe. It's one of my favorite Mercedes. It is a giant, powerful Mercedes SUV, especially if you get the C60 or if you get the A63 AMG. That one is especially nice. Now, this is not a new version. It is a re-release. It is actually a re-release of this. This is the original silver release from the original Jurassic World set. However, there are several differences. You'll see on the front here, there's not much print around the grille or anything like that. And then, of course, the new one here, you have additional print. The Mercedes logo is done up, and then you look on the back. There is some black outline around the taillights, which looks pretty good. And then, of course, on the original one, you don't have any of that black outline around the taillights. So different with that one. So we don't need to crack and compare. That's pretty straightforward what it is. But the last one in the mix is a brand spanking new casting, and it actually debuted in the Germany series, which is a little bummer for U.S. collectors. Definitely a rough one for us. Now we are going to get the Porsche Cayenne Turbo. It is going to be, I think we're going to get it in red in the main line. I'm going to have to double check on that. But this one is especially nice. This is an especially nice casting, which looks absolutely fantastic. And in case you were wondering about getting this particular black one, if you were in Germany, it did carry over to 2023. So it is the exact same version. They are both in black. That is the new Germany blister art card, which looks especially nice. You do have your 70th logo up here. We're not going to crack these open. I did get a set of these. There is absolutely nothing exclusive in the first German release. Nothing. I got these from Germany, and there is no new ones in the whole mix, unfortunately. So just want to show the difference between the card art. So let's rip these guys open and get them on the Rotator guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to rip as we go. We have our Rotator set up. We're going to start with our McLaren 720S Spider, number 8 of 12 for 2022 UK series. This is kind of like a wrinkle gray. It's got a nice texture to it. I especially like the texture to it. Does have some deets in there for the headlights, which looks pretty good. The casting is a pretty decent casting. It's an interesting build. Very interesting that Matchbox was able to get a McLaren license. So I always thought that was an interesting addition. Just has a clear windshield. And then, of course, it does have taillight decos and stuff like that in the back. Deets looking pretty good. It says 720S on the plates. This one has a little bit nicer interior than we normally get. We typically don't get that great of interiors. But since it is an open top, it's pretty necessary to have a good deco detail on there. So that one looks pretty good. It's pretty nice. I like that one. All right, moving on to our Volkswagen Transporter, our crew cab in, fire department. There's a special name for that, I'm sure, in France. But this one looks especially nice. There are quite a bit of prints on the side. And then, of course, it gets full prints on the front, which looks especially nice. This one does come in a interior variation. So that one is the one with the cargo. You have like basically a spare tire. There's like a bag in the back, some rope or chain in the back. Front end looks pretty good. I do like the chevrons on the front. The decos on the side look pretty nice as well. Some pretty good detail on there. They did put quite a bit of effort into the print on each side. And then just throw in the other guy on there just so you can see the interior variation. It is blank. Yes, blank. There is not a whole lot to see on that one because it is just blank. But this model has always had both interior variations, even when it was a 9-pack exclusive, which was an absolute disaster because you had to buy 4 9-packs to get all variations. And it was pretty expensive. It's pretty expensive. All right, moving on to the UK. We're going to start with this 2022 Ford Capri. This casting has only seen limited action. I think it's only been in the main line. We also saw it in the Retro Series. The Retro Series in green, that's the best version ever. Best version ever, in my opinion. This one looks okay. The black paint on the front is okay. It says Ford on there, which looks pretty decent. Kind of interesting with the black paint on the bottom of the front windshield wipers. But it does cover up just exactly what you'd think. So you do see some lines and stuff in there, which looks okay. I do like the center painted disc hub wheels instead of having, the outer ring on it too. I think that gives a little bit of a, dare I say, sporty flair. Chrome base is especially nice. And of course, the details on the front for the headlights look very, very good. I think this one with the chrome base really, really helps it out. Does have that one single side mirror for the driver's side, black interior. Looks pretty good. That black hood part on there is kind of a semi-metallic or semi-gloss finish to it. It's not full gloss, but it's kind of a semi-gloss finish. But that one looks pretty good. I definitely like that one. Not the best version though. The Retro Series in green was by far the best. All right, moving on to our Lotus Exige. Sorry. I was going to say it was Esprit, completely different car. This one in British Racing Green for sure. Does have a separate piece for that wing on the back. It is plastic, looks pretty good. I do like this casting. I think this casting's always been fantastic. I believe this casting debuted in 2008. It's been in about I'd say about 10 different decos. The super fast one that they did in late 2008 with the dual colored stripes on it was one of the best versions in my opinion. I think this casting is absolutely fantastic, though I really would like to see this casting come back to the main line. I'm just not sure if that's going to happen because of that rear wing on the back, being that it's a separate piece. That's kind of why it's, we saw it in a 9-pack, and it's been in obviously this series here, which is probably a little bit more upscale. But full prints on front and rear look fantastic. That side scoop in black is part of the interior. But it looks pretty good. I like just the solid black D10s. Very, very nice. Pretty good. All right, moving on to a Land Rover. 62 Land Rover Series 2. I was so worried I was going to be missing all these models, and I just got really lucky at the gathering last year because I couldn't find anybody that had any of these models. And I actually picked these up, I think, late Saturday night after the dinner and everything. And just happened to go in there, and there was just enough of these left that I think I have all of them. But if not, we'll be chasing some more this year. Full front deco on this one looks absolutely fantastic. I love the color. It's this deep like red wine. Looks absolutely fantastic. Of course, deets on the back. Got your Land Rover on there because of course you do. So tail light details and stuff like that. Of course, this comes with two different variations on the top piece, which is a roof rack. There is the other one. So there are the two between them. They are significantly different, but they are interchangeable. Not that it would really matter because you swap them around, you'd still have the same two. This particular roof piece just has a little bit of a kind of a square looking kind of weird attachment piece on the top. They use that kind of attachment piece for pretty much all their additions so that you can swap all your added on roof accessories between things, except for the Mr. Bean. The Mr. Bean will be different. It will definitely be different. So the Land Rovers tried to take off because they're probably running from the police, maybe from this M5 police right here. This one is from the 2021 set, and so were the Land Rovers. Like I said, this one typically tends to get extra print on the front, no extra print on the back, but that's perfectly fine. This one actually has extra print on the hood as well, which is not something we always get. So it does get 4 tampo passes, just none for the back. I do like the style of UK cars, cop cars. I think they just look cool. Kind of blue and like this reflective yellow color. This one looks especially nice with the gunmetal 5 spokes on there. This is a really good casting. It's a little bit narrow. But this is a really, really good casting. Definitely always been a huge fan of this. I don't think that they use it enough. I definitely don't think they use this enough. I really want to see it come back and be a staple in the main line. I think that'd be perfect. And they could put, international police decos on it, which would be very, very nice. All right, last one up for the UK. Rolling through, we do have Mr. Bean, and of course, the chair on the top with the teddy bear strapped to the top. It does just pop off. We will pop it off just to show it off to you. It's going to be the same version of Mr. Bean Mini Cooper, but you might get a little bit of print variations in like the hood, maybe in the color of the yellow potentially, but that hood is flat black on this one, just absolutely flat black. Full deets on the front. They even have the plate decoed up, which looks fantastic. And then as it rolls around to the back, you'll see, unfortunately, no deets on the back because, of course, they get the hood print on there, which basically takes up, I guess, the whole budget. Take our chair off the top. There is the chair off the top. It just sits there. It's just a one-piece, solid piece of plastic. But it looks pretty good. It is appropriately detailed, I guess you can say. But if you don't want it on there and you just want the Mini Cooper, there you go. You can have just the Mini Cooper. So we will snap that back on there, get that guy off to the side, and we will move on to Germany. And we will move on to an i8 that I feel like we should have gotten a million times, but we just keep getting the same one in black over and over and over. This is the one in white. This one is fully decoed up. You see it does have full front and rear deets, which look fantastic. Really, really like the details of that. I know that those taillights are probably not the easiest thing to print up, but I think it looks absolutely fantastic. This casting looks good. The moving parts one is not good. This is not good. We'll just put it that way. But this one looks fantastic. It is a kind of a pearlescent white, not just full-on white, but a little bit pearlescent. And then it has a very, very good combination with those chrome D10s. That looks pretty good because it does say BMW i8 on the plate as well. So it's almost premium. If you threw some real riders on this, it would be premium for sure. All right, moving on to another German staple. That would be Volkswagen. This is the Mark I, the OG Volkswagen Golf GTI. And it does come in 2 interior flavors. Now, I did not know it came in 2 interior flavors until about the second or third release. And then I had to scramble to go backwards and get the previous ones. I do believe I have all of them now, so pretty happy about that. It's a lot easier to find them when they're new on the pegs than it is to try to go back and find a particular specific interior version. This one looks absolutely fantastic with the small 6-spoke. Looks very, very good, very, very appropriate. Does have great interior on it. So in case you were wondering what the interior piece is, we'll talk about that in just one second. It does have some print up for the gas fuel door on there. And then, of course, or I should say the petrol door. And then, of course, the front end is decorated up very, very nicely with some very high quality prints, which is very, very nice. These are very good quality. Very, very good quality. So in the back of the car, you'll see that there is some cargo in there, just some miscellaneous stuff, some randomness, things like that. On the other version, you'll see it is empty. There is no cargo on it. So a little bit of a cool little Easter egg for this particular casting. Cargo or no cargo, you do have to take a look at it. The back window is not very big, so you got to put some effort into finding that one. So that one looks pretty good. Moving on to another Volkswagen, 1962 Volkswagen to be exact, Beetle. Now, we have seen this particular blue before for the 62 Beetle. However, it's not been the updated casting. This one also has a chrome base on it. Those disc hub wheels look fantastic. This is a very, 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 very good version. Very well executed. Looks absolutely fantastic. Love that baby blue color. And, of course, the chrome base is almost necessary. Like, you have to have a chrome base on pretty much every Volkswagen version of the Beetle, but you know, sometimes we don't get lucky and we just get a gray base version, which is not as fancy. Just a little bit of plate detail on there, just real quick. Just says 1962 Volkswagen. All right, moving on to something that's not a Volkswagen, but it is 100% related to Volkswagen themselves. Of course, we're talking about Audi. This is the the R8 in blue. It's kind of Nagaro blue, sort of kind of Nagaro blue. I think it looks fantastic, though. It does say Audi R8 on the plate. Full front and rear deets, does not have the blade printed on this one. I think if the blade was in black, this would probably be the best version they've ever done. But when that blade's not painted up, it's really hard to throw that in the best versions conversation for the R8. But this one looks fantastic. It's definitely a very, very good version. I do like this one a lot. All right, we're going to move on to another Volkswagen Group car. We're going to do the other Audi, which is essentially a much more awesome and sporty version of the Beetle, the new Beetle. Yes, the TT and the Beetle are built on the same platform. This is the TTRS, which of course you never got that kind of power out of a Volkswagen Beetle. This one in kind of a... It's very metallic, we'll put it that way. It's very metallic orange. Looks really, really good, but it has a little bit of pearlescent in there, just a little bit of pearlescent in there. So you get a little bit of really, really light orange as it rolls around when the light hits it. Looks very, very good. I particularly like this casting. I think it's a fantastic casting. The spoiler is integrated, so it's part of the body. Full front and rear prints on this particular one. Looks very, very good. It's nice to have some good prints on those vents in the front for the grill and whatnot. This one is well executed, and a little bit, just a little Audi symbol right there on the edge of the hood in silver. So that one is pretty nice. Very interesting that they chose to do this one in left-hand drive. But that's fine. I mean, the TTRS was sold in the US, but just kind of interesting to see it in left-hand drive. All right, moving on to a Mercedes-Benz. Not your luxury Mercedes-Benz, your utility Mercedes-Benz. This particular one is a pretty good version. I don't feel like they use the Unimog all that much, but they are using it. We got it in a 5-pack last year in Rannick Deco. This particular off-road wheel is especially nice. I really wish they'd use this wheel even more. It is a perfect fit for the Unimog. Really like this one a lot. It says HDR on the side. It does come with those cog wheels. This is not an entirely brand new deco, but it's a new version. It's a new version. So it looks pretty good. It does have a tow hitch on there as well. So you can tow around anything you want to move around. So that one looks pretty good. Throw that guy down there. And I just realized that I did make a mistake, so I will correct this now. I did miss one of the UK. I did miss the Land Rover Defender 90 in whites. I do apologize. So we'll correct that guy on there. This one has full front and rear deets. I really like this particular SUV in real life. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The only problem I have about the Matchbox one is it's very, very small. And the Defender 90 is not a small SUV. It's actually a relatively large SUV. And they made it really, really small. So I'm a little bummed out about that. And of course, the whole top part you see that is black is the whole plastic deal. But there is an interior in there. So at least we have an interior in there. And then we do have a spare tire on the back. Looks pretty good. Those nice square tail lights look pretty good as well. So it's a nice version. I do like it in white. The casting's just a bit small. Just a bit small. All right, going back to Mercedes for Germany. We're going to take ourselves a 220 SE. If I can ever get it out of the blister. Crazy. Sometimes it just doesn't want to happen. Now, this one was particularly popular at the gathering for good reason. There's a lot of guys that like older cars. The 220 SE is a pretty synonymous Mercedes in the history of Matchbox. So I think that is the biggest part of it. This one is a good version. I do like all the deco on the hood. There's some straps or hood pins, I guess, whatever you want to call those. No chrome base, though. It is gray base, but I think that's fine because this is more of like a race version. Black on the roof, a little bit more extra details in the back. Of course, you do have the German flag on there, the German colors, which looks fantastic. And of course, it is number 62 for 1962, which looks good. It's a pretty good version. It's kind of a creamy, weird kind of color. It's kind of hard to explain the color. It's a very unique color. We'll put it that way. All right, moving on to a set, because yes, we're going to do the police cars back to back for Germany. So this is the Unimog Troop Carrier. The U5023. This one did debut in Jurassic Park, Jurassic World sets. We've seen a few colors on that one. We've seen one that was even a battle damage. So this is the first time we're seeing this casting outside of that realm, which is very good. Very, very good. Maybe we'll see this in a 5-pack or maybe even in the main line at some point. Now, this model does not have an interior because it does have a removable canopy on the back, which we will take off here in a minute. But does have a nice print on the hood and, of course, prints down the side. I especially like the little bit of black detail on there. So the, symbolizes the tie-down straps for the canopy, which looks pretty good. Looks really, really good. They actually did a pretty good job on those prints. The canopy is just a pretty straightforward piece, which just pops right off. I do like the fact that there is some seat detail in the back of the Unimog, although it's kind of small. So you can only fit 4 people back there. And it's a little bit of a mixture of probably just to take up some of the metal out of the casting, which is perfectly fine. But I think it looks good. Definitely a good one for sure. I'll take that guy off of there. All right, moving on to the other Polizzi. And just so you guys know, there's one of these protectors in like every single blister. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. There is our M5 Police in German Deco. This one looks especially nice. I think the black 5 spokes with the chrome lip, bonkers. Fantastic. I liked the UK M5, but this one's like a whole nother level. This one has a little bit less deco, but you still get the full deco in the front. And I do like the fact that they have the plate detail in there. Looks very, very good. And then, of course, the striping down the side, that is good as well. I really would like to see this one. I'd like to see them do this one as opening parts, just so that we could get some a little bit better deco print on it and stuff like that. I think it would look good. But this is definitely a fantastic casting for sure. Definitely like the M5 Police for sure. All right, moving on to the last Mercedes in the mix. This is the GLE Coupe, as we've already discussed. Basic just print differences on the front and back. They basically added, some black printing, outlining, and stuff like that. The taillights look especially nice with that. It's very, very nice detail with those. This is another casting that is just way too small. Way too small. But the casting's good. It's just way too small. The GLE is a very big SUV. It's a huge SUV, as a matter of fact. And just a little bit of a bummed out. And, of course, the prints on the front, not as crisp as I was hoping they would be. But the prints on the back kind of make up for it. I think they look pretty good. And of course, it is in silver, which is always good. We like silver. All right, brand spanking new casting. The first of 2 Porsches we're going to take a look at. This is the first time I have touched or looked at the Cayenne Turbo, which is, of course, like I said, brand spanking new casting. Very interesting to see a brand new casting debut in a line like this, but I think that's fine. That's kind of the way that they work it. Matchbox has been doing a lot of that lately, where they introduce new toolings in specific lines, and it kind of helps to get more toolings out every year without having to rely on the main line, which I'm okay with, and I think all the other collectors will be okay with. Full front and rear deep prints on this one. Does have the light bar that goes across the back. Of course, Matchbox has done the previous generation Cayenne. So this is the newest generation Cayenne. I think it's awesome. I think it's great that they're continuing with the Porsche license. Definitely want to see Matchbox continue to make Porsches forever, basically. There is an interior in there. You can see it through the super dark smoked windows, but there's an interior in there, and it is a very, very, very metallic black, which looks good, but I would have liked a more gloss black, but it looks pretty good. Since this is a brand spanking new casting, there is your deets on the bottom. MB1305 is the new man number for that guy. So that looks pretty good. Like to see that guy in premium too at some point in time. All right, last model in the mix. And yes, I purposely saved this one for last because of course I did. This is our 911 GT3 in red. This is the updated casting. Does have the spoiler as integrated with the body. It is metal now, which is awesome. This model is one of the best castings that Matchbox has done in a very, very, very long time. This was a fantastic casting when it debuted. Has a roll cage in there, has a half roll cage in there, which looks fantastic. They did some crazy decos on this 2012, 2013 time frame. I did have an up-to-date on this particular casting that was current at the time. I will link that video at the end if you want to check it out, because of course I'm a little biased towards the Porsche, so I'm going to throw that there at the end. A little bit of plate detail on the back, taillights and headlights. A little bit of grille detail on the front as well, or intake, I guess you want to call it. And then, of course, your Porsche logo. Looking absolutely fantastic in the chrome 5 spokes. So, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Finally got the International Matchbox on the page. On my channel. Sometimes I get those mixed up with my Instagram page. But there you go. We're going to roll out with a couple of Porsches, because those are definitely some good ones. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think about all those models. Which one you'd have, which one you want, or which one you think is the best of the mix. We're going to catch you next time. Level Him Diecast. Peace!